Dear friend, is it true that every morning you wake up, pour yourself a glass of orange juice, slice up some mango or peel a ripe banana, and think to yourself, I'm living healthy? For many gentlemen over the age of 60, breakfast is always seen as the start of a good day for their health. But what if I told you those very foods you believe are good for your health might actually be silently lowering your testosterone, blocking blood circulation, and weakening your sexual function without you even realizing it? Yes, in reality, it's not because you're simply getting older. It's because the way you start your day is unintentionally throwing your body into a state of hormonal imbalance. And today, I'll uncover the truth behind 7 familiar fruits that have quietly become the hidden enemies of male vitality after 60. You'll understand why you've gradually lost your morning spark, why your confidence keeps slipping away, and most importantly, how to reclaim it all, just by making a few small changes in your breakfast routine. But don't leave just yet, because in the very first part, I'm going to reveal a fruit that nearly every household has that we eat almost every morning, and yet it may be the exact thing that's slowly making you less of yourself each day without any warning. Before we begin, may I ask, where in the world are you watching this video from? I'd be truly happy to know who I'm sharing this journey with today. Please leave a comment below. And if you find content like this helpful, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so we never miss a chance to support your health, especially for men over 60. Now let's start with the very first fruit, a so-called morning friend you've trusted for years, but that might be quietly working against your manhood. Fruit 1, ripe bananas, the morning buddy that betrays you. I have to admit, for many years, I believed bananas were one of the healthiest breakfast choices. Quick, easy to eat, and rich in potassium. But the truth is, especially after turning 60, those soft, overripe bananas with brown spots may be quietly sabotaging your male performance without your knowledge. The problem isn't with bananas themselves. It's the high sugar content that develops as they become overripe. When you eat them first thing in the morning, especially on an empty stomach, that sugar absorbs quickly and causes your insulin to spike. Sound familiar? Insulin, not only regulating blood sugar, also causes inflammation in blood vessel walls, narrowing the arteries that are crucial for achieving and maintaining an erection. It also suppresses testosterone production and disrupts the process of nitric oxide synthesis, the very compound that helps maintain blood flow down there. So while you think you're fueling your body for the day, you're actually making your hormones and blood vessels work overtime from the moment you wake up. What's scary is that the damage doesn't happen overnight, it builds up quietly over time. One morning you wake up not feeling like yourself, and then it happens again until you start thinking, maybe this is just aging. But in truth, your breakfast might be the real culprit. Looking for a solution, you don't need to give up bananas entirely. Just avoid eating them on an empty stomach. If you do eat one, pair it with protein or healthy fats, like peanut butter, walnuts, or a boiled egg to slow the sugar absorption and keep your blood sugar more stable. If possible, enjoy bananas at lunch or in the afternoon, when your body already has an energy base to process it more efficiently. That way, you still get the taste, without the hidden hormonal side effects. But if you think bananas are the only ones quietly affecting male health, then the next fruit will surprise you even more. It's small, sweet, often eaten as a snack, yet it might be a much bigger disruptor than you'd expect. Dear friend, if you're still watching this video up to this point, I'm truly glad to know you genuinely care about men's sexual health after 60, and the hidden mistakes in your morning routine. Please leave the number 1 in the comments below so I know you're still here with me. Fruit 2, grapes, sweet little sugar bombs quietly choking your testosterone. I remember a time when every time I opened the fridge, I'd casually grab a handful of grapes, sweet, refreshing, and labeled as heart-healthy. But then, once I hit my 60s, I started looking deeper and discovered that each tiny grape actually contains a surprisingly dense amount of natural sugar. Especially when you eat them in the morning on an empty stomach, their impact becomes even faster and more intense. Just a small handful is enough to cause a sharp spike in your blood sugar. The body immediately reacts by releasing more insulin to bring it back into balance. The problem is, insulin doesn't just regulate blood sugar, it also disrupts male hormones, lowers testosterone production, and constricts blood vessels, especially the ones leading to where you're probably thinking right now. The result, after a few weeks or months of keeping up this so-called healthy snacking habit, you may begin to feel less responsive to stimulation, or simply feel drained each morning. Your sense of confidence starts fading, but you'd never think to blame those tiny little grapes. So if you still love grapes, and I get it, they're delicious, just save them for the afternoon after you've had a protein-rich meal. That way, the sugar will absorb more slowly, it won't throw off your hormones, and your body won't be thrown into that dangerous insulin spiral. We just talked about a small fruit with a big impact, but the next part may surprise you even more. Because it's not even whole fruit. It's the juice you think is pure and healthy that you pour every morning. But in reality, it may be nothing more than soda dressed up as orange juice, and far more damaging to your testosterone than you might imagine. Fruit 3, orange juice, thought it was vitamin C, but it's actually liquid sugar ruining your hormones. I still remember those mornings years ago. I used to pour myself a cold glass of orange juice and sip it slowly thinking, I'm doing something good for my body. Well, it's vitamin C, right? It's oranges. Everyone says it's healthy. But the truth is that glass of orange juice, especially when you drink it on an empty stomach, is quietly delivering a sugar shock to your system. We think we're consuming something natural and nourishing, when in reality, a glass of orange juice can contain just as much sugar as a can of soda. And on top of that, there's no fiber, no protein, nothing to slow down the absorption. So what happens? Your blood gets hit with a sugar wave, and insulin floods in to deal with it. And then the familiar cycle begins again. Testosterone drops, blood circulation slows, and male sexual performance takes a nosedive. Not to mention, after a couple of hours of feeling alert from the sugar, you crash. You lose motivation, feel drained, and become less interested in everything, including intimacy. So what's the fix? If you still love the taste of orange, eat the whole fruit instead. The fiber in orange segments slows down sugar absorption. Even better, start your morning with water and save sweet fruits for after a protein-rich meal. That way you still get the flavor, without paying the price in your bedroom health. And if you thought orange juice was the final red flag, think again. The next fruit is often praised as a superfood for male performance because of its blood flow benefits. But if used the wrong way, it can quietly become a hidden destroyer of your vitality. If you're still watching this video at this point, thank you for staying with me. I truly appreciate and value it. Please leave the number 3 in the comments below so I know I'm not talking to myself here. Fruit 4. Watermelon, thought to be a superfood for men, but quietly causing trouble. I know this feeling all too well because I used to believe it too. Watermelon was the golden fruit for men. It's packed with citrulline to help with blood flow, supports circulation, and on hot days, it cools the body and lifts the spirit. The more I ate it, the more I felt I was doing something great for my health. But then I realized something that many men over 60 have never considered. Watermelon, when eaten at the wrong time, can backfire. You see, over 90% of watermelon's weight is water, and the rest is mostly natural sugar. When you eat it in the morning on an empty stomach, that sugar rushes into your bloodstream, spikes insulin levels, and then the familiar chain reaction begins. Testosterone drops, nitric oxide becomes unstable, and blood vessels lose their flexibility, which means your morning response starts getting weaker and less consistent. Worse yet, watermelon digests very quickly and doesn't keep you full for long. This makes you more likely to feel tired by mid-morning and reach for more sweet snacks, triggering a vicious cycle of sugar, insulin, and declining performance. So the recommendation here isn't to cut watermelon completely, but rather to eat it at the right time. Have it after a protein-rich meal when your blood sugar is already stable and your hormones aren't in a fragile state. And if you think watermelon is just a rare exception, don't get too comfortable. The next fruit tastes tropical and sweet, often tied to sunny mornings, but it may be harming your liver and hormones more than you'd ever expect. Fruit 5, mango, sweet, juicy, but a double-edged sword for male vitality. I have to admit, mango is one of my personal favorites. Every time I slice open a ripe, golden mango, it brings back memories of bright, energetic summer mornings. But unfortunately, after turning 60, our bodies don't handle sweet mangoes the same way they did when we were younger. Mangoes are loaded with fructose, a type of sugar that travels straight to the liver. When you're young and active, your liver can handle it. But after 60, when insulin sensitivity drops and the liver is more easily overwhelmed, the sugar in mango becomes a silent burden. What happens then? Fat builds up in the liver, hormones become imbalanced, testosterone production decreases, and of course your ability to perform starts going downhill. Not to mention, mangoes have a fairly high glycemic index, so if you eat them in the morning on an empty stomach, they can trigger the same chain reaction we've already seen. Sugar spikes right arrow, insulin spikes right arrow, testosterone drops, reduced blood flow. Now, I'm not telling you to break up with mango forever. If you really enjoy it, you still can, just treat it like dessert. Eat it after a protein-rich lunch when your blood sugar is stable. And keep it to a small portion, just enough to enjoy the flavor without disturbing your hormone balance. Next up, we'll talk about a fruit that's not only fragrant and fancy, but often promoted for digestive health. And yet, it may be one of the most quietly damaging foods to men's hormones after 60. Fruit 6. Pineapple, a tropical delight that quietly drains male vitality. Pineapple, the fruit that makes you feel refreshed, energized, and reassured that you're eating something vitamin-rich, anti-inflammatory, and digestion-friendly. Well, that's what I believed for many years, and I know many others do too. But here's what I and most men didn't know. Pineapple contains a very high amount of natural sugar, over 16 grams in just a single cup. And here's the kicker. Pineapple has very little fiber to slow down sugar absorption. So when you eat pineapple, especially in the morning or on an empty stomach, the sugar floods your bloodstream almost immediately. This triggers the familiar sugar spike we've already talked about. Insulin rushes in to stabilize the system, but with it comes the unwanted consequences. Testosterone drops, nitric oxide gets thrown off balance, which is essential for maintaining blood flow to sensitive areas, and inflammation rises in your blood vessels. Pineapple becomes especially risky for older men, since blood sugar regulation is no longer as responsive as it used to be. So even if your intention is good, your body reacts in a quiet but clear way, slowly chipping away at your vitality, and you'd never guess that a fruit so innocent-looking was behind it. If you still love pineapple, that's okay, just don't eat it in the morning and never on an empty stomach. Instead, have it after a full meal when your hormones and blood sugar are more stable. And if you think we've now covered all the dangerous fruits, you're in for one more surprise. Because the next one isn't juicy and it isn't fresh, but it's often marketed as a healthy snack. When in fact, it may be the biggest hidden sugar bomb quietly sabotaging male health in the morning routine of men over 60. Fruit 7. Dried fruits, healthy snacks or sugary desserts disguised as testosterone killers. I used to be a big fan of dried fruits, raisins, dried apricots, a few chopped dates sprinkled into my morning oats, or just a small handful with a cup of coffee. They're compact, convenient, and often marketed as natural, fiber-rich, and full of minerals. But the truth is, after years of research and real-life observation, I have to say honestly, dried fruits might be one of the most silent culprits behind the steep decline in male vitality after the age of 60. Why? Because when you remove the water from fresh fruit, you're concentrating all the sugar inside, turning a small piece into a natural sugar bomb. On top of that, the fiber, which normally slows down sugar absorption, is significantly reduced during the drying process. So when you eat dried fruits in the morning, especially on an empty stomach, your body processes them no differently than candy. And as you might expect, insulin spikes again, testosterone gets suppressed, inflammation rises, and blood vessels in those sensitive areas begin to lose their elasticity, damaging your performance. What makes dried fruits dangerous is that they feel light, they taste healthy, and they give the illusion of clean eating. But what's happening inside your body tells a completely different story. If you still enjoy dried fruits, you don't have to say goodbye forever. Just eat them after a meal that's rich in protein and healthy fats when your blood sugar is stable. Never use them as a standalone breakfast or as a substitute for fresh fruit. By now, we've walked through 7 fruits that seem harmless, but in truth, may be undermining male hormone health after 60 in a serious way. But here's the interesting part. That very same world of fruit, when chosen and used the right way, can actually become your best ally in boosting testosterone and restoring natural vitality. Part 2. Fruits that truly help awaken male vitality after 60. I understand the disappointment you might feel when realizing that foods you thought were healthy may actually be silently weakening your hormones and libido. I've been in that situation myself, believing I was eating well until I started noticing subtle signs. Mornings lacked energy, motivation dropped, moods became unpredictable, and I couldn't figure out why. But after observing hundreds of male patients over 60, I began to see a clear pattern. It wasn't age that caused the decline, it was years of poor morning eating habits. Specifically, fruits high in sugar but low in balancing nutrients like protein or fiber. When eaten at sensitive times, like on an empty stomach, triggered a harmful chain reaction. Lowered testosterone, reduced blood flow, and a fading sense of passion and confidence. The good news, you don't have to cut out fruit completely. In fact, some fruits not only do no harm, they actively support testosterone production, improve circulation, and help reignite male vitality naturally. It all comes down to choosing the right kinds at the right time and using them the right way. And coming up next, I'll show you exactly which fruits go against the grain, nourishing your body while helping you stay strong, energized, and confident after 60, without medications or complicated interventions. Part 3, choosing the right fruits can take you back to your peak performance years. Everything I've shared since the beginning of this video might have made you feel a little doubtful about morning fruits. But don't worry, not all fruits are out to betray you. The truth is, there are still fruits that are incredibly beneficial for men over 60 if you know how to choose them and use them at the right time in the right amount and for the right purpose. For example, berries like blueberries, raspberries, or pomegranate are rich in powerful antioxidants. They help boost blood flow, reduce inflammation in blood vessels, and most importantly, support nitric oxide production, a crucial factor for natural erections. What's more, these fruits have a low glycemic index, so they won't trigger sugar spikes in the morning. If you pair them with a light source of protein, like unsweetened Greek yogurt or a few slices of avocado, you've got yourself a breakfast that not only stabilizes your blood sugar, but also nourishes testosterone and keeps your blood vessels open and flowing freely. Remember, the problem isn't fruit, it's misunderstanding how to use it. Once you understand the biological principle behind it, you'll know how to eat smart, while still maintaining your vitality and even improving your intimacy naturally and consistently without medication. Dear friend, starting tomorrow morning, try replacing the 7 fruits I mentioned earlier with smarter choices that support testosterone and blood circulation. A handful of blueberries, a spoonful of unsweetened Greek yogurt, a few avocado slices, or a boiled egg, these are reliable allies for men over 60. And don't forget, start your day with a glass of warm water to gently activate your circulation, rather than shocking your body with a rush of sugar from orange juice or an overripe banana. And most importantly, pay attention to how your body responds after just a week. You might be surprised to feel more alert, more emotionally balanced, and let's be honest, naturally stronger in the mornings too. Today, we've taken a very specific journey, from fruits that seem healthy but do hidden harm, to options that actually help restore male vitality naturally and sustainably. The truth is, you're not losing strength because of age. You're just using the wrong information at the wrong time with the wrong habits. If you found this video helpful and want more content that's simple, honest, and practical, made especially for men over 60, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. That's how we stay connected, and make sure you don't miss anything that could help you feel stronger and healthier every day. Thank you for staying with me until the end of this video. I wish you good health, a positive spirit, and a powerful return to your natural vitality. See you in the next video.